Next, we're going to be reacting to why Chris will soon be a nightmare for Mr. Beast, Sunny V2. Now, I've been seeing stuff about, like, I don't even watch Mr. Beast, to be honest, like that. But I heard Mr. Beast and Chris, I'm assuming that's one of his friends, like, some stuff's been happening with them. I seen on my recommended, never watched the video. Hopefully Sunny goes into it, because I don't want to have to watch another video. That's probably going to be 30 minutes, and probably just get clickbait. So hopefully Sunny V2 is going to explain it to me in a way that I can understand, because I'm a bit silly sometimes. But Sunny V2 always done me right, so I trust that it will happen again.
The Chris Tyson situation could become a complete disaster for MrBeast brand.
How much was Breath of the Wild? It was like $60.
Some unique benefits. So let's begin by going over the drama before explaining exactly how this will impact the MrBeast channel. In mid-2022, fans began to notice that Chris Tyson was changing. In the early days, he represented the quintessential southern gun and truck-loving dude. Yet beginning in March 2022, Chris began to display increasingly feminine traits, making tweets such as, "I finally got my nails done at a nail tech." Additionally, Chris...
Yo guys, is painting your nails feminine? Y'all think painting your nails is feminine? I don't think so. Y'all think wearing makeup is feminine? Cause I don't know how I feel. I feel like it's not feminine to me, but that's because like I think about like, you know, like if you're an actor you have to wear makeup, you know what I mean? And like I kind of put nails in that same realm as makeup, so like in my mind I don't see it as feminine. If Itachi can do it, so can I. Fair enough, bro. Fair enough.
Chris would highlight that his facial appearance had changed significantly since the start of the pandemic, which accompanied another post reading, "Okay, so in 4 different customs I had to prove I was myself because I, quote, look nothing like my passport pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any resemblance?" Prompting replies such as, "You went from man to boy." Chris responded by stating, "Nah, to be honest, I just really started taking my mental health seriously and eating better," yet his Twitter photos kept insinuating that Chris was becoming more feminine, with this same kind of look showing up in his MrBeast appearances. For example, on the 6th of January 2023, Beast Reacts upload...
How do you even... I need to start watching MrBeast, bro. I didn't know he was getting down like this. I was not familiar with his game.
A video titled "I strapped a GoPro to a fish," in which Chris dressed in a way that prompted comments such as, "Chris has been adopting more and more traits that remind me of my grandmother." Okay, so some people just gonna ignore Chris's nails? Chris had to have lost a bet. The look is getting wild. The response to the video then prompted countless viral TikToks, such as this one with 700,000 likes, stating, "How did Chris go from this to this?" While others even made the claim that Carl had turned him gay. Now, this was pretty ridiculous, as Carl isn't even that feminine, and Chris had come out as bisexual years before he and Carl had even met. The true catalyst for Chris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage. In January 2022, Chris would post a photo with his wife to his Instagram, yet after this, the family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails. Chris confirmed the split in a post from...
You know, I did hear some people like paint their nails for like charities. Like, I mean, who was it? I think Wax said it to me, but he was like, he was gonna paint his nail pink for breast what was it called? Like I said, I'm silly, y'all. I don't remember, but I think it was breast cancer awareness. I think that's what it was. Pretty sure. MrBeast the type of guy to pay for people's eye surgery and then get called the... No, for real. No, actually for real. Because I remember I saw someone on TikTok and they were like, "Oh, MrBeast gave this woman a car," and like people were like getting upset about it. And I remember it was me, Wack, Lake, and Charlie, and we was like, "Bro, that's a free car." And I remember people was like, "Oh, it has the logo of MrBeast on it." I don't give a damn. Like, what? They're gonna be like, "Oh my god, he likes MrBeast." At bare minimum, I look like a MrBeast fan. That's the worst that I can get out of that. But I get a full free car. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
March 2000.
Then again, I don't watch MrBeast, so I could be wrong.
Now, me and Katie have been separated, with this also confirming that Chris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end. Chris went from lighting campfires and raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails. As the criticism continued to pile, Chris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media. And while there was a possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according to a quick Google search is the medical process for changing genders. Chris would expand on this by stating, "Informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies," which received a positive response from both Carl and Mr.Beast, who wrote, "Got you, I did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend."
That's tough.
Workers expressed positivity, others weren't so welcoming. There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Weak man time.
I mean, I feel like you can still look up to people without it being like a man thing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like as a man, I can still look up to women or, you know, other genders that aren't male or masculine. I can still look up to them for different reasons. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it has to be specifically them being a man. Like, of course, there's some traits within men that are masculine or overly masculine related that you can, like, look up to in a way. But I don't feel like you can only look up to that as a man, or even a boy. I feel like anyone can look up to really anyone for different reasons.
Chris responded to this comment by stating, "This is just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids. Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my child will only know love. I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every other person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision because I wanted to show up as my best and happiest self for him. In a way, this was for Tucker." Chris's
Yeah, that makes
response
sense.
received some
I can get behind
positivity,
that.
such as, "I'm convinced you're an amazing father. Tucker is lucky to have you and also lucky to have all of those who surround and support you in his life, as well as I adore that. I'm glad you made that decision. It's so much easier to be a parental figure when you're not struggling with dysphoria, yet he'd also receive an equal amount of backlash. You ripped apart your family and took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic. He will get torn apart at school, won't
Nah.
want friends around his house. A life full of difference and being alone. Must have missed the point in that tweet. How's this for him when you're depriving him of a father figure?" Although Chris wasn't altered by these comments, as he'd once again reiterate his certainty in a new post reading, "It's never too late to start being yourself," which received praise from Mr.Beast as well as Nolan and Carl. However, these comments also added extra fuel to the fire. In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Hope you come out of this safe. Mr.Beast responded to this with a simple opinion irrelevant ratio, to which the original commenter would state, "I have 30 followers, so go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing that I'm not a coward who idly sits by watching my friend ruin his own life."
How do you have 30 followers but you have a check? Bro, why did Twitter even make the check mark viable, bro? Come on. I'm really seeing this account thing like, damn, all these verified accounts are really weighing in on this. That's crazy. Like, what? I feel like it's weird that they're saying, like, you're watching your friend ruin his own life. But, I mean, can't you assume that they're bettering their life? You know? Wouldn't you assume that by them accepting them for what the decisions that they decide to make to better their own lives, that's a positive? Not. I just don't get a lot of people's ideas. I don't get it.
Life. In some ways, it was nice to see the boys standing up for Chris on Twitter. However, the situation has already begun to change the dynamic within the videos. For example, in a recent livestream titled "Opening 1,000 Mystery Art Boxes," Chris would once again dress in quite a feminine way, and while everybody participated as usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their
This is the post
head,
from
as opposed to
twitter.com.
being in the present
Fair
moment,
enough.
enjoying each other's company. Maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Chris did make these bizarre jokes about Jimmy being female, making him incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh my god, Jimmy, look, they drew you. Jimmy, they drew you so well. It looks just like you.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God, it's Jimmy.
How did fan art? This is what we were looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind. Mr. Beast. That is my tagline.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
For the most part, the live stream was devoid of awkward moments. However,
You know, not every joke's gonna hit.
another 100
You know what I
years
mean?
worth of drama.
Hey, if all my jokes hit, I'll be up there. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have a good joke, sometimes you have a bad one. It's ups and downs. Ups and downs, that's all it is.
Criticism. Chris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time, but is this really going to happen? Well, maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Chris's reputation and influence. However, if Chris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful member in the first place? Perhaps the opposite will happen, and he'll instead pick up new personality traits that better resonate with the current Mr. Beast audience. This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris, who implied that there'll be millions of queer kids who look up to him, although this doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add any value to the videos. Mr. Beast has likely cultivated a massive LGBT audience, all of whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video. On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority, although as we have seen, a situation like Chris's does have the potential.
Now, y'all, we gotta talk about this Squidward edit. We gotta stop using it. As a collective, we need to come together to stop using this sad Squidward edit, bro. I'm tired of seeing it. Everywhere I go, I see it, bro. Now, I remember I seen a post, and it was Squilliam. He's like, "You're still walking around that fat ass nose," and there was this picture, and it was XXX Tentacion, and it was Squidward crying. And when I tell you that shit made me laugh for a month straight, it had a chokehold on my sense of humor for a month, bro. A month.
To create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the Mr. Beast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy way to up my
So
game
you're
if
a
I got it.
Keemstar
bro.
The problem is this type of situation is probably the last thing that Mr. Beast wants to attract, as he's forced to agree with Chris's position, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for Mr. Beast. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Chris, cancelled. If he don't, his channel will die for real. An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare. Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Chris's transition, as silence or even worse, disapproval would come with obvious severe repercussions. However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their true feelings and may rather simply click on fewer Mr. Beast videos. If this is the case, Jimmy has no option but to accept this fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm. The only clean solution, should things go south, might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable. Whether it be arrogance or ignorance, Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
I feel like that's a little unfair for Chris. You know what I mean? Cause like imagine like this, y'all. Imagine like this. You feel uncomfortable in your body, right? Or you feel uncomfortable with your current gender, and so you decide to go through the effort to switch. Now I'm assuming he talked about it around like Mr. Beast, right? He talked about it like around them, because I'm assuming they're friends off camera, right? So they probably talked about it. And I'm assuming they were like, yeah, you should do it if you feel like that's something you should do. I'm assuming. This is me being very generous, all right? It's kind of weird to say, oh, he was being inconsiderate. Right? You see what I'm saying? It's kind of weird to go, he's being inconsiderate when this is something that really should only affect them and not Mr. Beast. Like, yeah, of course it might affect Mr. Beast, and it definitely probably has affected like the channel. But I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like if Mr. Beast was, and again, I'm being general. I don't know all the things he's done or said, but I'm assuming he's a pretty good guy. I'm assuming. If he hasn't kicked Chris off yet, then I'm assuming he's a good guy. But I feel like he would have either. Well, I guess it would make sense why it took 2 months before she said anything or they said anything. Kind of where point, in my opinion, a staple of Sunny V2. Well, we got a few more Sunny V2 videos, so hopefully we can point them out going forward. All right.